Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to start talking about how to find the slope of a line. So the slope talks about the rate of change. So essentially it's just talking about how fast something's changing. So an example of a slope would be if you think about like a bank account or a piggy bank. If I put $5 in each week, my slope would be 5/1, $5 for each week, and that would be my rate of change because each week my bank account is changing by that $5. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the slope. Again, we're just talking about that rate of change. Now there are a couple different types of slope. So there's a positive slope where your line is increasing, right? Your line is increasing. We always read our graphs from left to right. So we always read our coordinate planes from the left side to the right side because our number line goes from -10 to +10. So for a positive slope, my bank account would be going up, right? As the weeks go on, here's my weeks with my X, my money is growing. A negative slope is the opposite. So a negative slope is when it's decreasing. So I start with a lot of money, but as time goes on, I start losing money. Zero slope is when it's just a straight line, so it's just flat. It's not changing at all, it's just a constant rate. So if I didn't take any money out or put any money into my bank account, it would have a zero slope because it's not changing at all. An undefined slope is when it's up and down or vertical. Okay, undefined slope is where is not actually a function. So which line does not represent a function? Our undefined slope doesn't represent a function. Okay. So vocabulary that we're going to use today: a right triangle is any triangle with a 90-degree angle. And here we have our little diagram, and here's our square with our 90-degree angle. Horizontal lines are lines that go from the left to the right. A way to remember it is that a horizontal line is like the horizon, right? If you see the sunset on the horizon, that's horizontal. Vertical lines go up and down. Those are the vocabulary words that we'll use. Now, to calculate the slope from a graph, here's what we need to do. Here are our steps that we're going to use today, right here. Number one, we're going to choose 2 points on the line. So if this is my line, I would pick 2 points on that line. Then we're going to identify the vertical change, so how far up or down. Then we identify the horizontal change, so how far from the left to the right. And then once we have those two numbers, so we'll find a number for our vertical change and a number for our horizontal change. And then our last step is to write them as a fraction, and to write that fraction in simplest form, which means if it can be simplified, we need to simplify it. So those are the steps that we're going to use, so we will reference those. But let's go on and look at our first example. And notice how the steps, right? Find your 2 points, find your vertical change, find your horizontal change, find your slope. Those are our 4 steps. Alright, so we want to calculate the slope of the line and draw a right triangle between our 2 points. Now we can pick any 2 points on the line. It doesn't matter where, but they need to be nice points. In other words, do you see these hash marks, right? Do you see our the lines of our coordinate plane? Like for my 1 and my 2 and my -2 and all that. We want to pick a point that's on our red graph here, but also passes through that corner. So for example, I wouldn't pick this point because this point's out in the middle of everything and I don't actually know the values. I could pick this point because this point is a nice point, and by nice I mean I can easily figure out the ordered pair. This would have the ordered pair 3, 0. 3, 0, so that's 1 point. Then I could pick any other point, so how about we pick this point right here. This is the point 5, 2. Now again, we could have picked any points. We could have picked these 2 points way down here. That would have also been fine. When it says pick 2 points, it legitimately means you get to pick which ones you want to use. Well, now let's go ahead and let's find our vertical change. So our vertical change, remember, we're going to start with the point that's on the left, and we're going to work our way towards the point that's on the right. So starting at this point, it looks like we have to go up. Well, we have to go up 1 and then up 2. So we have to go up 2, and then we have to go to the right 1 2. So we have to go up 2 and then to the right 2. So our vertical change is a positive 2 and our horizontal change is a positive 2. So then that means that for our slope we would have 2 over 2, while 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So our slope would be 1. Let's try a couple more. So we're going to do that same type of thing for letter B. We're going to pick 2 points. So again, 2 nice points. Here's a nice point. And then I have to go all the way down here for my next nice point. Okay, so I have the point 0, 7, and then I had the point 1, 3. For my vertical change, it looks like we need to go down. So down 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. And since it's going down, it's going to be a negative 4. So we went down 4 squares, and then for our horizontal change, it looks like we just have to go to the right 1 square. So our slope would be negative 4 over 1. Well, negative 4 divided by 1 is just negative 4. So that would be our slope. And that is how we use our line to find the slope. Let's practice a couple more. It'd be a good idea to pause the video and see if you can figure any of these out for yourself. So again, 2 points, and remember you get to pick. So I'm going to pick the origin, and then I'm going to pick this point 6, 2. You don't have to pick those points. You could have picked 2 other points on this graph. My vertical change looks like we're going up, so we're going up 2. That's our vertical change, and then our horizontal change, we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So up 2 over 6. So if our slope is 2 over 6, well, 2 over 6 can be simplified, right? 2 goes into both of them. So 2 divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our slope would be 1/3, or 1 over 3. Looking at letter D, well, here's my point of 0, 4, and then I could pick the point of 1, 4. Vertical change, I don't go up or down at all, so that would just be 0. Horizontal change, looks like we go over 1. 0 over 1. 0 divided by 1 is just going to be 0. So this line has a slope of 0. And hopefully for letter D, you notice that that was one of our special cases. Right? Going way back to the top when we are looking at positive, negative, 0, and undefined, letter D was our 0 slope. Letter A, well, our line is increasing, so this is a positive slope. What do you think letter B is? Letter B starts up here and goes down, so this would be a negative slope. And remember, you always read your graph from left to right, just like a book, just like a sentence. Letter C, well, we start way over here, and it's increasing, so this would be positive slope. And then again, letter D, we know because it's a horizontal line, and we know because of our math that this has 0 slope. Letter E, that's another one of those special cases, so maybe you already have a guess, but let's take a look at it and figure out why it's undefined. So again, I'm going to pick 2 points. So I have the point -3, 0, and then I have the point -3, 1. Well, our vertical change, it looks like we go up 1 square, so that's +1. And then our horizontal change, it doesn't go to the left or right at all, so our horizontal change would just be 0. So our slope is 1 divided by 0. I'd like you to take a second and go to your calculator and take 1 divided by 0. And your calculator is going to get mad at you. It's going to say this is an error. And that's because you cannot divide by 0. You cannot divide by 0. And so since you can't divide by 0, that's why this is an undefined slope. So we would say that our slope is undefined. So anytime you have that vertical line, this is our vertical line, anytime that happens, your slope will be undefined. And again, it's because you can't divide by 0. So that's how we use this right triangle method, or use this method where we find our 2 points to find our vertical and horizontal change in order to find the slope. Now you have a few practice problems at the bottom here, so make sure that you complete those, and then when you are done,